Hello, everybody. Welcome to Grounded Roots Healing. I'm Jason, and had a hell of a couple of days. It's a long story. I'll do my best to explain it, but I don't even know how to frame this properly. I honestly been thinking about that as I drove over here, so I'm down with my son is doing his Muay Thai practice. And I've got about an hour, and I haven't made any videos because I was, do it without cursing, I was not in the mood, to put it lightly, to talk to anybody or do anything. I need a haircut. Cannot force myself to go do that. Cannot get the energy, the willpower to go the 15 minutes and get my haircut. So I go around with longer. So in my last few videos, I was on my way home. It's not a tick, is it? Jesus. I think it is. I was on my way home from work, which is always strenuous. It's always hard on a person. And it usually takes me at least a few days, probably more. My wife would probably say a week, before I'm back to myself. And what that means is the avatar is fully recovered from what I've put it through. The higher me. So what I often called, I haven't said it much recently, but I used to use this term a lot, and it was the body-mind complex. So the avatar that is this body that our conscious higher selves inhabits has its own operating system, which is stored in the brain, or is part of the brain, which keeps this animalistic creature alive on this planet. It's the very primal nature of yourself, the part of you that is connected to Mother Earth. In fact, is part of Mother Earth. There is no separation between you and the planet. Your body, mind complex, is part of the planet. It's a fingertip of the planet. And Gaia is the female, or the feminine aspect of God that creates these physical avatars for us to inhabit on this grand play. There's a masculine and feminine, and it combines in this one body at the center of your chest. This is where the higher self meets the lower self, and it joins in a divine spark that comes from the center of your chest. This is the projector, the creator of all things. This is the focal point of this illusion, this projection that we're living in, that we're inhabiting, and we're learning all these lessons. The grand play. If a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, does it make a sound? No. It's not even there. It's like whatever you need is being rendered in front of your face as you go. So Mother Earth technically is not real either. It's all an energetic creation, a fabrication for us to experience these things in. And we're all the same higher consciousness fractalized down into these avatars. So you're experiencing your particular brand through your divine vessel, and I'm experiencing my brand of awakening. And it's all intricately intertwined. Okay, so for whatever reason, this body-mind complex of mine has autism. It's an autistic body-mind complex, which just means it's a very particular way of thinking and being. It's very, very sensitive and attuned to nature. I would argue it's hyper vigilant in nature. But being that hyper vigilant in nature, where there is no or a much, much lower stimulus load, and then taking that body-mind complex and putting it in society with this overload of everything, signals and electronics. And I mean, when you can hear the fridge humming in the other room and you can't not hear the fridge humming in the other room, this is a problem, because, you know, in nature, that suits us very well. To hear all the birds chirping is not a big deal. It's what we're built to do. But when with all these manufactured noises and Wi-Fi signals and Bluetooth, and you can feel those. I absolutely can tell when my Bluetooth is on my phone. It causes a discomfort in the hand that I'm holding it in. So it's detectable. Absolutely. At least for me. So I'm overwhelmed, is the point here, by everything around me. And when I left work, my body-mind complex goes through a gauntlet. It needs to drive 8 hours, sleep in a strange room, eat food that's not been prepared by yourself, constantly around other people, then get on airplanes, airports, the whole lineup thing. You're in other people's energy all the time. And then you get home and it requires a break. It requires space to refill. And if you don't give it to it, it will demand it. This is what is known as an autistic meltdown or shutdown. You've overdone it. The higher you has put this body-mind complex through too much, and it will not have any more. And the only recourse it has is to go into fight or flight mode. This is what happens. So then you're angry for no reason, or you've got a fuse this long. So you need to go in isolation. You need to go into nature. You need to go into a quiet space and let the body-mind complex recover. And what I noticed over the last week or so is that there's a lot of anger, and it's not coming from the higher me. It's coming from the body-mind complex that has been, frankly, abused for 40 years. It wants to be treated fairly. You know, you keep putting it in that situation. Like, a lot of these situations, confirmation word, a lot of these situations that we're in, we have no choice. At least that's what we believe. We're in the 3D matrix. We must do these 3D jobs, and they are specifically engineered to make us as miserable as possible, to take away all our sovereignty, ask for permission for everything, and suffer. You're not strolling through nature and being rewarded for that. You have to save up and make time and space outside of work in order to get any exposure to this. So the me that is the avatar Jason is very, very pissed off. And I'm assuming at the higher me for putting it through what it's put it through. It has not treated this body fairly over 40 years. It's made it go without sleep for extended periods of time. It's said yes to things that it shouldn't and put extra weight on the shoulders of this poor creature. It's abused alcohol and drugs. It's just in order to get through and keep fulfilling the commitments that the higher me made in order to in order to feel safe. A video cut out. In order to feel safe, like I was saying. So I had this moment today where I crashed out. I just had to go. I'm home. I don't know how long I'm going to be home for. No time frame on return to work. So I'm sitting here, and all this vehicle wants to do, this body-mind complex, is have some fun, enjoy nature, get out in nature. So I needed to spend a little bit of money to upgrade my hunting gear so that I could get out and do it. I needed something in particular. And of course, that's a problem. Can't find it locally. I got to drive an hour and a half to go get it. It's going to cost me $200. I'm trying to save money because you just don't know what's happening with work. So I had this moment this morning where I was just going to go do it and spend the money, and because I deserve to be in nature, and this was a way for me to do it. And then I said, nah, it's too far, not enough money. And I swear to God, my mind-body complex revolted. It had a crash out. It just wasn't having it anymore. It's like, what the F do you mean you're not doing this again? You told me you told me you were going to do this for me, and now you're not doing it because you're worried about the future. And does God provide when the money is necessary? Does it happen? Does it feel right to make that choice and spend that money on yourself? Fucking do it. Jesus. So so I didn't do it again, and then it crashed out. And I was essentially, what that feels like is it's an angry for no reason. No reason that your higher self can see. But the body is mad. It's mad at the world, and it's just lashing out. So I went out into nature. I just went to go collect some drop apples. There's a lot of apple trees, wild apple trees around here. For our little farm that we have, they're free, and it's a way to get out. It doesn't cost anything. It actually helps. So I went and did that, and I got my 25 gallons of apples in about an hour, and I got some time to think and get away and get in nature. And then it became apparent to me what's making this thing angry is I've made it. Every decision I've made has been the opposite of what would have been good for my mind-body complex. All it wants is a quiet place in the forest to live, away from people, where there's a forest to manage and enough room to garden and have a small farm. And I had opportunities to do this in the past, and for whatever reason, I would always choose the one that would make me more money, or the smarter choice financially. Try to. It would never work out, of course. And it was pissed off. That this body mind is just not happy with the situation that I have put it in, where it has to live within a high traffic area with not enough room and not enough money to do a few things. Even everything is more difficult, and it was mad at me for putting it in that situation. And to be fair, I do not blame it. Now, what it can't see is the bigger picture. It can't see the plan that God has for it, and that the only way to awaken would be to put it in such an uncomfortable situation that the higher self splits from the lower self, where what we call awakening happens, where you get that space between the conscious you and the body-mind complex. Most people have no clue that there's even any difference between the two of them. and they've never seen any space. So they just continue on down doing this dance. And when the body mind gets angry at the higher self, they don't know why, and then they associate that anger with something they've done, and then they got to try to find a reason for it on the outside of why they're angry, and then it leads to nothing. This is essentially what I think modern psychology is, but talk therapy. You're on the wrong path. You think there's a reason, and you don't know that there's two of you in there. As soon as you figure that out, it changes the whole way you look at this. But anyway, I'm sitting here making a video about, what I'm sure sounds insane, but I don't give a shit. It's yeah, I had a crash out. I feel better, and this is always what happens. You get the pressure put on you until you figure out why you're feeling that way, or which part of you is feeling that way, for that matter. And when you have the aha, okay, this is why, the pressure starts to relieve. I mean, that is the only way in order to kind of accelerate this learning process, is to just keep putting more pressure until you figure it out. And if you don't figure it out and you snap under the pressure, then it cycles back around and tries it again and another time. So there's no getting out of it. You're going to learn these lessons one way or another. And this is obviously all we're here for. This entire game. That's what it's all about. Cycle, lesson. Did you get it? Okay, move on to the next one. Cycle, lesson, move on to the next one. The spiral of life continues. But man, I sure would like some of that. I would like the space and the, well, frankly, finances in order to give this vehicle, body-mind complex, a break. It deserves it. I'm going to do everything I can in the situation that I'm in, but I have limited abilities. I do have to go back to work if I get called, and that's just the way it is. So, but I have to be more cognizant of what it needs and give it to it, not push myself past under the guise of doing a favor for somebody or whatever. No means no, and I'm responsible to take care of this body-mind complex. I've done a terrible job of it for the last 48 years, almost 49, and it's time for me to do better and prove to it that I have its best interest at heart, and that I'm not going to let anybody push me past what I'm capable of doing. So I think I'll leave it there, guys. Like I always say, I hope this video finds you well. I love you all, and we'll see you soon.